University, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
مرحبا واهلا وسهلا فيكم بحلقه جديده من بودكاست الارسال، حلقه خاصه، حلقه غير عاديه. انا متواجد حاليا بليتوانيا بمدينه فيلنوس العاصمه بمؤتمر مدربي التنس العالمي من الاي تي اف وورلد كوتش كونفرنس. خلال تواجدي هون التقيت مع كثير لاعبين سابقين ولاعبات ومع مدربين ومدربات. قسم قدرت أعمل مقابلات معهم ونتحدث شوي عن التدريب بشكل عام، قسم بس أخذنا صورة، قسم كانوا مستعجلين، فتجربة كانت أكثر من رائعة. بحلقة اليوم راح يكون في مقابلة خاصة مع أحد اللاعبين واللاعبات أو المدربين اللي التقيت فيهم هونيك. بتمنى الحلقة تعجبكم ويكون المحتوى على قدر التوقعات. تنسوش تابعوني على كافة منصات التواصل الاجتماعي واستمتعوا بالحلقة. Hello, we're having today Marc Sophoulis from Australia. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Thank you for accepting to be with me in my little podcast. It was a really good session today morning. What's your role in Tennis Australia, if you can describe it?
Yeah, so I deliver coach education for Tennis Australia, and I run some workshops, which is great. So, used more in the education space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so with which player you worked?
Oh, over the time? Oh,
yeah.
There's been a few players over the time. I've had really fortunate to work with players like Victor Hanescu from Romania, Anastasia and Irina Rodionova, the Australian girls, Nicholas David Einau from Romania as well, Lulu Sun. Has been obviously a great riser in the rankings in previous years. So. I've had a few players under my belt, which is really cool. So I'm really lucky to have, for them to trust in me.
You show us some exercise in the morning. How much important to do the ball exercises with only in the court with the little children?
I think it's really important. I think the most important thing for me as a coach is to engage the learner. So I think it's so critical that we don't just do the same drills and the same things over and over again that are boring the kids. We need to make sure there's energy. We need to make sure we create thinking and we create decision making, because the game itself is always going to be moving faster and faster the higher these players go. So we have to train them from a young age to think faster, to act faster, to read the ball better.
Yes, so you talked about reading the ball.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's really important thing, because who's playing tennis, as you said, they're thinking about the hit itself. Yes. But to read the ball, how much it's important, not only for the professional and for the children.
I think it's so important. I think I gave you guys some numbers, and I'm happy to share that. But the ball only spends about 3 seconds on your racket for an entire match.
Entire match, wow.
And then the ball is in the air being hit, and it's in the air for like 15 minutes. So if we think about, the game, more of the gold is in reading and perceiving, because if I can understand the ball that's coming in, I can understand what ball I can play from there. So we have to put a lot of emphasis on the ability to read an incoming ball, to make good decisions when that happens as well. Because I think, it's one element to know how to hit, but like I said, you've got to read something, you've got to make a decision, you've got to then play it back. So, if you're not consistently challenging the children from a young age, they get to the older ages and they haven't developed the foundations of reading the ball in the game. So, we have to build foundations for performance. And most of the time, coaches just focus on skills.
Yeah. Many years ago, all the time they are talking about in tennis coaches, meet the ball behind the body. But there's many players that it's not easy for them.
Yeah.
So they can meet it just a little bit behind. So
I think that this is the really important part, is every player has a unique technique, grip, etc.
Yeah.
If we tell every player to do the same thing, we'll have really poor tennis players.
Yeah.
Nadal hits later than Federer. Different grip, different style of game. So, every player can't be dealt with the same. We have to be very individual. It's an individual sport, right? So every player has their unique strengths, and we have to make sure we use those strengths, and every player has unique weaknesses. So we have to make sure that we understand our athlete and know what every player needs and where to hit the ball from.
Yeah. So as you are working with Tennis Australia, in which age you just see this player, this child is going to be a little bit more involved in tennis to go more, maybe to be a professional, but
I think I try not to deal in ages for me, because I think everybody matures differently, you know. So, you know, you have 2 7-year-olds and they could be totally different.
Yeah.
You know, one could be a more grown faster and have more maturity than the other one, but the other one ends up slowly catching up and going past. So I think when we go down this path, and I never say to someone, there's only one thing you'll achieve in tennis, like, oh, we're just going pro and that's it. If we don't make professional, we learn so many skills in tennis. But so many families always say, oh, if they don't make professional, what's the point? The point is they learn how to be independent. They learn great values of life. They learn how to be professional in what they do. And then they take those learnings and they put it into a job. They put it into family. Yeah. So, you know, we always think in this, you know, sometimes unrealistic world of everybody will make professional. It's not the reality, right? But the reality is everybody can become a good human being. And tennis creates the skills of great human people. And that's why we're all here and why we all connect, right? So, you know, there's no one here with ego. Everybody talks to each other. Everybody's okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because tennis has taught us to be like that.
Yeah. So, to share all the information. So if we look to the professional tennis, it's my last question. You have Alex de Minaur, and in the women you have Tomljanovic.
Well, not anymore.
Now Kasatkina changed the nationality. How you see the tennis in Australia in 5 years? Let's see.
Yeah, I think right now we're probably in a point where we'd love to be in a better position. You know, I think there's some players. We'd love to have more players, you know, at the top of the rankings. But I think it's hard to project, because, like I said, some players might not be there now, but in 5 years' time it might be different, right? They learn and they mature and they grow and they understand themselves better. And, you know, we just have to keep guiding players, you know. And I think as coaches, it's an important part is don't give up on a child.
So how difficult for you as in Australia, you know, the season starting in the first part of the year, and you have many young players. How it's difficult to travel to go to play Challenger, the Futures. You're a little bit far from the teams.
Yeah, we're far from everything.
So it's more difficult for you.
It is, but I think, you know, everyone has difficulties, right? I think there's, you know, what we don't have is the ability to play tournaments every week around our area. But what we do have is we're a strong financial company, so the country, so we can support our players a little bit financially sometimes, you know. But other countries have different difficulties, right? You know, whether it be support or whether it be whatever it looks like. It doesn't matter, coaching or knowledge or everybody has limitations. And I think if we focus so much on the limitations, we forget the things we do have. You know, tennis in Australia, there's a lot of opportunity. You know, we would like to have more opportunity? More tournaments and more. We'd love that. But if we focus on the fact of what we don't have, we lose sight of what we do have, right? So, you know, I never make excuses for players not being good enough. Same with me as a coach. There's no excuse for being poor in my performance. No excuse. You know, if I want to make an excuse, don't do the job. So I think I try not to worry about what we don't have. Was a great point at the end. Thank you so much, Mark. Pleasure.
Was a pleasure. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much for support. Everything you have done tonight for me. I love you.